What's up, everybody? Welcome into an episode of Doc's Daily. It's Saturday, October 4th. We are live and in full effect. I got Robert Ferringo joining us today, stepping in for Griffin. He needed to take Saturday off, so he'll be back next week. Robert Ferringo is joining us, stepping in clutch. We're next man up kind of mentality around here, okay? So
they're stuck with me. You guys are stuck with me now.
So it's it. We're for the next 45 minutes to an hour. If you got football questions, I guess we got playoff baseball to talk about too today. I mean, that's what I'm into. But if you have questions about games, drop it in the chat. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you don't do that, nobody wins. Nobody wins here. Nobody wins unless you hit the like button. So hit that like button. Don't forget to comment. Drop in there what you want to talk about. We usually give everybody about 5 or so minutes to file in. You know, everybody's late. We're late. They're late. Everybody's late. It's Saturday morning, so take your time, folks. Get your coffee. Make sure you get your pen, paper. I have mine. I have my pens and paper, college and NFL. I'm ready to go. I got my notepad. I got my pen. I'm ready. So, Robert, drop the winners off when you're ready. Just go ahead. Just start listing them off.
So the noon window to me might be the most interesting in terms of like picking up information for later. There's just a lot I want to see. Like that Air Force Navy game, that number has done nothing but climb. Navy is now a 13.5 point favorite. The number was 10.5, 11. This is a rivalry series. A lot of people are expecting this number to go over. This total is in the 50s for only the third time in the last 14 years, I believe it is. And I know Air Force's defense has been bad, but these are still two option teams, right? Like Navy just played Rice, which is now an option team as well last week. That game was 24-13. So is this one going to be the shootout everyone expects in the series, or is it going to be more to what we're used to with Air Force and Navy, where they just kind of grind each other down? I want to see how Clemson comes back. They got humiliated when last we saw them. They were tucking their tail between their legs and walking out of their stadium because my Syracuse Orange humiliated them, absolutely embarrassed them. What's their mentality like? Is there any fight left with Dabo's group? And same thing with North Carolina. Are they anything this year other than bad? So that's an interesting game. The Iowa State-Cincinnati game kicks it off. We have a ranked team, top 15, 5-0 team that's been covering numbers. That's Iowa State. They're 3-1 against the spread in their 5 games. They're underdogs at Cincinnati. Is Cincinnati for real? What's that? Is that an indicator or is that easy money? Kansas State, Baylor, another one. Who are these teams? Baylor was a team that came in with a ton of experience. They were kind of like the Illinois of the Big 12 in terms of returning production, seniors, Sawyer Robertson, very good experienced quarterback coming back. So Baylor was getting some of that love, some of that buzz as like, hey, maybe this could be the year that they jump forward. They're 3-2. They've been a disappointment. Kansas State was one of the favorites to win the Big 12. They've been a disappointment.
Right.
That's going to be a big win for somebody today. So a lot of interesting storylines to look at.
There's a lot of good stuff to football on the slate today, so to speak. And then you got baseball. I mean, we obviously have baseball, stuff like that. So I know Scott B says, Robert, you got to get a little loose today on these Saturdays. We get loose on Saturdays. Nice. That's you're on the under. I'm not necessarily. I'm on Navy team total. Okay. And that's all. Number? Like 31, 31 and a half. 31 and a half looking at right now. And that was a doctor's orders. I'm betting outside the box. It's at 7:00 at night. Shout out, shameless plug, Raphael and I. But I don't want to touch the side. I don't want to touch total. I don't like the military schools as a rule of thumb. I'm not a big Army, Navy, Air Force. I'm not that guy. So I don't usually get on that. But team total, stuff like that, sure. If I find an edge, I think that Iowa State Cincy game is going to be the game of the day. I think that has potential to be the game of the day, but not in the fact where people want to look at it and where if you're looking for points, I don't see it in that game. I like the under, is what I'm saying. Trying to say in that is what
Iowa State just lost both starting cornerbacks this week. And Cincinnati put up 37 points last week at Kansas, threw for over 500 yards. Like Brandon Sorsby is the real deal. He's a big part of the reason why I like them as a really underrated, undervalued team in the Big 12 this year. In fact, here's what I think is going to happen. I think Cincinnati wins this game, and I think they blow up my Cincinnati's underrated and undervalued things. They're not going to be underrated and undervalued if they knocked off a top 15 team. And that's going to blow what was going to be a nice little moneymaker for me the rest of the season. That value on Cincinnati is going to go out the window. Scott, I'm with you. I'm on the under in that Air Force Navy game. The thing about it is that Air Force has given up a ton of points the last 3 weeks. I think 34 points in 3 or more in 3 straight games, right? But those were against primarily passing teams. Okay, like they haven't been terrible against the run. You know they're going to bow their back because they're facing a rival in Navy, and you know that they know their offense because they run the same thing. If it turns into a shootout, and there's been a couple of them in the last 10 years, like I mentioned, this is only the 3rd time in the last 14 years that the total in this Air Force Navy game has been over 50. One of the times the game was like 48-45. Right, so it did. It went away.
That's so anomaly.
Right. If that happens, I lose my bet. No problem.
So be it.
Right. I'm going to lose some of my bets, right?
Yeah.
I'll lose that one, but I'm betting against the public, and I'm betting against the number, and I'm betting on what I see with my eyes, and I think that one goes under.
Scott B's a wonderful. He's first of all a longtime viewer and always active in the chat. We appreciate you. He's an Ohio guy though. He's a Cincy guy. I thought that he might be Craig Trapp's doppelganger. Like maybe he was like Craig Trapp's burner account, but because I've never seen Scott and Craig in the same room, I'm just saying. But there is action on this Saturday, and I would tell you, I'm involved in every MAC game. I just realized this as he mentioned the MAC. I pulled up the MAC and I'm looking. There's 6 MAC games on. Well, that have MAC teams in it, right? I mean, even Kent State, Oklahoma, right? Mm-hmm. I'm on Oklahoma minus 46.5 because Kent State is borderline not a football school. They're on the level of UMass today. I'm just saying. I'm also on my Broncos, Western Michigan Broncos. They are going to win by 52,000 points over UMass. I'm just saying. I think they're bottom feeders. Kent State, Akron, they're the same. They're 2 teams that are in that. They have to. They're like the little brothers you had to bring along to your party. Okay, you had to invite them. You had to come. That's how
I agree with you in general about Kent State. That they and Akron are complete total jokes. I am not as sure about Oklahoma today, though. They have that Red River rivalry game next week.
Right.
Okay. Johnny Mateer is not playing in this game, which they win with defense anyway, but Mateer is the real deal. He knows that offense because his offensive coordinator and him were at Washington State last year. They came over to Oklahoma, so that's why they were such a seamless transition. So they're playing the backup quarterback, and this is a game they're just going to want to get out of there healthy, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I just don't think that they're going to max out in this game against Kent State and run it up. Now, I could be wrong. Like with the 12-team playoffs, now one of the things we've heard a lot of people talk about is style points matter. Margin of victory matters. That's why you see teams running up the score now rather than, pulling their starters as early as they might have. So maybe they just go out and put up a 56 nothing on them. But again, with that rivalry game next week and already dealing with some injury issues, I could see them pulling back. And I'm trying to pull up Kent State's schedule. They've been a little feisty this year, like in terms of they've scored some point. Like they almost beat Buffalo. They were like a 20-point home underdog. They almost won that game. They already faced Texas Tech, and they stayed within 48 points of them. They scored 2 touchdowns in that game. They already saw Florida State. So they've seen top-tier competition. So nothing that Oklahoma's bringing into this game is anything that they haven't seen yet. So I don't know. Feel like they can hang around.
I feel Oklahoma, and I feel everything you just said. I agree with. I don't know, and that was a factor in. It's a small play, like for real. Like it's a $50 play for me. It's a half unit, however you want to do. It's a $50 bill for me, more for tracking than probably anything. But for me, I think this Oklahoma wins this game, like you said, 58-45. 6.
3.
Something like that. And with their second string, I maybe the smarter play now talking it through with you is probably looking at a Kent State team total under or something that way, or Oklahoma team total over. You mentioned those 2 top tier schools that they played. They both scored in the 60s. And but with looking ahead for Oklahoma, I think they can lay off and score 50. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. It's all about motivation. And one of the things I've noticed in my time is that these giant numbers, like it's like this in college basketball too. You get those like 35 points.
Yeah,
I'm never good at those. Like in college football and in college basketball, like spreads in that massive range. I bet I'm hitting 20% for my career. I never get it right? But one thing that I have noticed is that the deeper we get into the season, the higher the likelihood of covering a 45-point spread. Like if this game was in week 1 or week 2, teams are knocking the rust off. They aren't really sure who they are. A lot of times the underdogs are the play in those first 2 weeks with these 40-something, 50-something spreads, right? The deeper you get into the season, like you're right. If Oklahoma wants to win this game by 60, they're going to win this game by 60. Like there's nothing Kent State can do to stop them. It's just a question of motivation. And that's why it was a stay away for me. All right. Scott B asked about another. Wait, first Mar asked about the Duke Cal. Okay. One of the guys on the site has a top play in this game. Okay. And he's on the opposite side of me. I like Cal. All right. Now I was dead wrong about Duke last week. I was like, why are they favored by this much at Syracuse? Like, who the hell is Duke, frankly? Right? Like, who are they? Why are they favored on the road? And then
it's football, not basketball.
Right. They hammered Syracuse last week, but that really had a lot more to do with how bad Syracuse was, what the drop-off was between Steve Angeli and Ricky Collins. Steve Angeli got hurt at the end of that Clemson game. He's out for the year. So he was leading the nation in passing yards, by the way, when he went out. They bring in Ricky Collins, who's more of a runner than a thrower. That was ugly. Like Syracuse was ugly last week, right? So now Duke has to go across the country again as a road favorite. I don't think so. I like Cal. Justin Wilcox has been very good in this role as a head coach of Cal. I don't like this Cal team, but I have to admit that they played better than I expected so far this year. I believe they're 10-5-1 against the spread in their last 16 games as a home underdog. So I'm taking the points for a small play, but there's somebody else on Docs that has Duke for a big play. So I know that doesn't really answer your question, but just to give you a little insight where, how I'm breaking
and
down.
I didn't mention this at the beginning, and that's my bad. We were late here, and it is what it is. I'm the horrible host. I mean, call customer service, complain. Everybody else does. New customers, free $60 account, docsports.com/free60. This is where you're new to Docs. You can use this free $60 account on any handicapper you want. You can get Robert's premium plays for this today and tomorrow. Because keep in mind, I don't mention this enough, and that is for real, my bad, on a serious note. We're one of the only places out there, if not the only place out there, when you buy football package, you get college and NFL. Is that I'm saying that correctly, Robert, right?
Yep,
yeah. So
absolutely.
You're not buying like today's football package for $30. You're buying for $30. You're buying Saturday and Sunday, NFL and
Monday night football, Thursday night football. Yep.
It does not include CFL. Okay, Canada's a different product. I don't know what to tell you.
Yep.
Talk to them. There's tariffs involved. I don't know. Talk to Trump. Vote. Call your congressman. CFL is a different product. Okay. NFL, college football, one product. Okay. Those lines are those plays are released Thursday night, 6:00 Eastern, and you get the whole weekend package. Okay. So you can use this free $60 account on any handicapper you want. Like I said, Robert's premium plays, somebody that has another play over at the website, you can get the breakdown. You can get everything you want involved in that. And Robert came prepared today because Robert's been around the block. So he came prepared today for you guys, and he brought with himself a promo code for you. DocsDaily15. You can use this promo code, DocsDaily15. I think I froze. Did I freeze? Sorry. DocsDaily15, 15% off. That's good for today and tomorrow through 7:00 tomorrow night.
Yes, and the promo code said that it's for all football packages, 15% off any football package that you want. However, I'm probably going to get in trouble for I am going to get in trouble for saying this, okay? But I'm just thinking of you guys. I really am. And I'm excited about this. I woke up this morning, went on my insiders page. NBA packages are up and available now. Try and use that promo code.
I dare you.
Towards an NBA package. That starts in a few weeks. Like maybe you can scam like 15% off a full season or a monthly or something like that. I'm not sure if it's going to work.
NHL packages are up.
Yeah, I mean, NHL starts this week too. Yeah. Like try and use it on anything and see if you can get away with it. It might not work. It might be like ahead of the game on that type of stuff. I didn't ask. I don't know. I know
it's okay. Saturdays, we don't ask for permission. We ask for forgiveness.
Right. Love it. Love everything.
Saturday shows usually about a half hour after Saturday shows. I'm on the phone with the boss, explaining myself and asking if I can come back next week. So,
hey, somebody mentioned about your jersey, by the way, up there too. Okay, for several things. Number one, if you think that's the only jersey, the only Tigers jersey that he has, you crazy. Okay, that's number one. Number two, they're on a streak, bro. It's playoff time. Like they had to win to get in. They had to win to keep going. You don't wash anything, man. You don't wash anything.
I got Diego's my number one. Diego's my number one fan in the chat. I give out a play every day for YouTube members. If you're not a YouTube member, there's a link in the description. It's $4.99 a month. You could ride along with all my craziness, okay? And then it goes up from there. Whether you want Indian Cowboy, Craig Trapp, it's in the description. Read about it. Click the link. It's all good. But Diego, when I first started doing this, Diego was in the chat every day. He'd comment telling me that I'm not taking the Tigers. And I would not tell him to take the Tigers. I just always wear this hat. I mean, like I just got a haircut, folks. Okay, I just got cleaned up.
I know, looking good. I noticed.
I still wear a hat, right? So he'd come in the chat and say, "Hey, don't. I'm not taking the Tigers. Stop telling me to take Tigers." I'm like, I'm not telling. So he's just messing back and forth. We're all good. I have two great jerseys. I have a button up, and this is the batting. This is the retro pullover. I got a white one. I got some batting practice. I'm available, Diego. I've already made the call to the front office. It's pitching chaos today. It's bullpen day, which means I got probably 3 pitches in me. 3. One is going to be close to the plate. One is going to be wide left, and one's going to hit somebody. Okay, so if that's what they need from me from the Tigers organization, I'm available.
Yeah. Okay. Mar asked about the Boise State Notre Dame total. Okay. I'm with you. I'm with you on over in this game, but I don't like the number. It's creeping a little high for me. Notre Dame, their offense is legit. They're playing really, really well on that side of the ball. And they're another one of those teams, like I mentioned before, they got to win on style points. Not only do they have to win out if they want hopes of making the playoffs, which I don't think they're going to do. Okay, I'm just going to take my place on that. I had Notre Dame not making it back to the playoffs this year in the preseason, but they got to win on style points, man. That means they got to blow out a team like Boise State. 7-point win isn't going to do it. Okay, Boise State also always comes to play in games like this. All right. You remember they took Oregon to the mat last year in Outson. Like this is a Super Bowl type game for Boise State. So they're going to throw their best punches in this game as well. I can see both teams playing in the 30s. But I just, I didn't want to go there. I don't do many college totals to begin with. I'm not very good at them, frankly. But I see where you're going with this Notre Dame over. I think that's the way to play it. But that's that. Also, Charlie Heron asked about Washington, Maryland. Again, we got some disparate thoughts at Doc Sports on this. One guy has a huge play on one side. 2 other guys have a big play on the other side in this game. So that's if you log into Docs, go onto the BPA, you'll see some top plays. We got like 3 guys that have their top play today in this game. And they're on opposite sides. I can make an argument for either side. Washington played better than the final score looked last week against Ohio State. Also, their offense is not going to get held down again for a second straight week. Like Maryland just can't defend like Ohio State can defend. It's a 3:30 kickoff time rather than that noon time. So that takes some of the travel out of it. Not as bad. We saw what happened to USC last week at Illinois. They got tripped up by that noon time. This is a 3:30 game. So, and this is a short number. So a lot of things point towards Washington. I love their quarterback. I think they bounce back. If you like Maryland, though, I get that too. You're getting points at home with a team that's been better than everyone expected to begin with. Like the market has been very slow to react to Maryland. They have 3 freshmen, including maybe the best freshman in the country. Their quarterback just got ranked, I think, as the #1 most impactful freshman in the country this year. They have 2 other defensive players that have combined for like 15 tackles for loss. Like they got an injection of talent. They are playing well. It was not a fluke what they did to Wisconsin in Madison, beating them 27-10. They dominated that game. And anybody that knows anything about Madison, Wisconsin, it takes a lot more than a smile to go in there and blow up the Badgers.
A little bit.
So Washington in a letdown spot after that Ohio State game, traveling west to east. So like I said, I threw Maryland in a teaser, and that was as close to this game just because I'll take 2 touchdowns with just about anybody at home, right? Anybody copies that. But that's as close as I'm going in this game. But I know that some guys on Doc Sports feel very, very strongly about this game on either side. So
that's fair. I don't like either team. I think Maryland's. I definitely think they've overachieved already. They don't win another game. Honestly, if they don't win another game the rest of the season, I still think they overachieved at their win number. I didn't expect them to be very good at all.
It's a quarterback. It's a quarterback. You get a freshman quarterback that comes out of nowhere that nobody's, like when you're doing your preseason stuff, you're like, they don't have a quarterback. Then the kid is a freshman, or they have a freshman.
I'm not scouting high school
comes in and right. I mean, exactly. The kid comes in and turns out to be awesome. It's like, oh Jesus, okay, yeah, they're better.
I can tell you about Southern Nevada high school football quarterbacks, but that's not it. That's it.
So somebody in there was talking about Vandy plus 10. Beware there, bud. Look, I love Diego Pavia. If I could adopt him as my child, I would, even though he's almost the same age as me.
I was going to say, that's kind of weird.
Love Diego Pavia. I think in his college football career, I think he is 15-4 against the spread as an underdog. I know he's 10-2 as an underdog with Vanderbilt. Like he is an underdog god. So it's like Pavia getting points, automatic bet, right? Not today. Last year, this spread in this game was 23, and it was at Vanderbilt. Now, Vanderbilt won that game, so they blew that spread out of the water, right? They're not sneaking up on anybody. Now we're going to Tuscaloosa. We got game day there, so they're going to be amped up. That home crowd, normally I'd be worried about Alabama having a letdown after that Georgia game. Right. They're not going to because they're at home with game day there, and they're playing with revenge. Next week, letdown time for Alabama. Right. This week, they got something to prove. And I just don't think that Vanderbilt's defense, it has nothing against Pavia. They're going to score. They're going to make this an entertaining game. But Alabama, I think, is on a little bit of a mission here. I don't love them, but that number is short. That number should have been probably 16.5, something like that. But the books don't want to give Pavia any more points because he's been so good at it. So I wouldn't take the bait. Last thing, that number, right, that 10.5, doesn't it feel like it's kind of begging you to take Vandy, right? Like you just kind of, you're scanning down the board. You're like, oh, Vanderbilt plus 9.5, like easy. Yeah, 100%. Like I'll take that. Like it's kind of begging you to take Vandy. And I feel like it's a little bit of a trap there.
Can we talk about Wisconsin, Michigan? Just a little Big Ten action. I'd like to also get your take on the Michigan State game too. It's well known across in the streets of YouTube, so to speak, that I just can't stand the University of Michigan and anything about it. And the more Dave Portnoy likes him, the more I hate him. And that sucks because I'm kind of ridiculously a Dave Portnoy fan. But I don't feel like Michigan curb stomps them. 17's too much. That's just too much. I don't think they come out. I know it's at Michigan. I don't care. I just think Wisconsin puts up a little bit of a fight out of pride, but I did not bet it. But I know that's a big game on some people's radars. I got a lot of people. We mentioned that a couple of times. Craig Trapp's dropping.
Starting quarterback Billy Edwards is out, so that doesn't help the cause. Right. I want nothing to do with Wisconsin right now. They're a sinking ship. Luke Fickell experiment did not work. They've just been bad. If they can lose by 17 at home to Maryland, if they can get blown out on the road at Alabama, I think they can get blown out here. I'm with you, though. I don't love Michigan. I don't think they're as good as everybody else thinks they are. Underwood is legit. He's the real deal. That guy's going to be awesome. He's going to be an excellent pro eventually. He's not there now. He's still just a freshman quarterback.
Right.
And tough to trust freshman quarterbacks laying big points because all it takes is 1 or 2 turnovers here or there to not get them past that number. So it is a big number. I don't know what Michigan's like overall motivation level is going to be. I just don't really like either team. So for me, it's no thank you. As far as that Michigan State Nebraska game, look, there's just no way in good conscience that you can lay points with Nebraska. And if you do, you deserve everything that happens to you. Okay. They may cover today. They may win by 20 today, right? Like that is possible that may happen. Okay. But it still doesn't mean that it's the right side. You should not be laying points with Nebraska. I think the number is something like they are 22-48 against the spread as favorites. That's not the exact over the last 10 or 12 years. That is not the exact number, but it's something close to that. They're covering like 30% of their games as a favorite over the last decade. You can't lay points with Nebraska. They haven't done anything yet to justify being this big of a favorite. Michigan State, I like Jonathan Smith. He's a good underdog coach. They have a veteran quarterback. Okay, they've been a little bit frisky this year. So, again, stay away game for me. But until I see Nebraska cover 2 or 3 spreads as a favorite, right, until I see them string some tickets together, like, what are we doing? What are we doing with Nebraska? Yeah. Everybody wants them to be something they're not. Like, it's not 1985 anymore, guys. Like, sorry. I wish it was. I like kids and all that stuff too, but, it's not. They're just not that team, and they haven't shown that they have that gear.
I mean, put my Homer hat on for a minute, and like we beat nobody, Michigan State. No, I mean, like you beat Boston College, you beat Youngstown. By the way, you only beat Boston College in overtime, 42-40, and you hung around with USC in a game traveling to USC. It wasn't a great spot, but whatever. I in good conscience, I will be a full disclosure with you guys. There's a bet on Michigan State money line for me because I'm a homer. That's it though. It's just it's a F around and find out kind of bet. That's it. It's just purely because I'm a Spartan fan. I'll probably get fired, but I don't even know what a Cornhusker is. That sounds like a worker in a field somewhere shucking corn. I don't know what that is. Nebraska sucks. Michigan State rules. Spartans go green, go white all day, all night. I'll probably get fired, but whatever.
Somebody else asked about the SMU Syracuse game. Again, I know I'm gonna sound square, but like this is, and somebody asked about that Georgia Kentucky game earlier. You want to talk about a real nice teaser opportunity? I think I teased Georgia down, especially because that number's been coming down. I saw 18.5, 19 this morning. The SMU line is still at 17.5. That's just kind of begging to be merged together as a little 2-team teaser there. Little bad beat protection for you. Worked out for me last night with South Florida and BYU. BYU let West Virginia in the back door. The South Florida game was a tough push. That number was 27.5 earlier in the week. Got up to 28.5, landed on 28. I think Georgia bounces back. They're 0-4 against the spread. Okay. Kentucky is a pretty good underdog, but Georgia has hammered them in the past at home. Like their last 4 home wins over Kentucky have been by 38, 17, 21, and 29 points. Now you want to say this isn't the same caliber Georgia team. I got you, but I haven't seen anything from Kentucky that makes my socks roll up and down about that. I think Georgia's mad that they lost last week. They shouldn't have lost last week. If that freshman makes that catch at the 5-yard line late in the third quarter, they get a touchdown there and they take the lead. If Kirby Smart had taken the points instead of going for it on 4th and 1 in the fourth quarter, I think they win that game. Okay, so Georgia didn't play poorly. Alabama played out of its goddamn minds. I still think Georgia is a very good team, and I think that they bounce back and prove it. As far as Syracuse goes, I want, after what I saw last week, I want nothing to do with them. They were a team that like way overperformed my expectations early in the season. Like beating Clemson, I'm not going to lie, I got a big ticket on Syracuse under 5.5 season win total. I wanted to cry when I saw them beat Clemson. Like now every week I got a money line bet. Like I got to drop like $200 or $300 on Syracuse on the money line this week just to hedge,
try and get some of that back.
But they were so bad last week against Duke. I want nothing to do with them. Ricky Collins has got a lot to prove. I think SMU is going to take this game seriously. Like there's still newbies in the ACC, right? Like Syracuse is still a name team to them. So this isn't like Wake Forest coming to town, let's screw around and just win this game. Like, no, I think SMU wants to drop the hammer. This was a playoff team last year. They got a lot of those dudes back, including their quarterback. Syracuse is awful defensively. This is another one I could see very, very much get away from the Orange. They've been good in the underdog role, but that drop-off from Angeli to Collins, until I see Collins do something productive, Syracuse is fade, particularly on the road like this.
I like this Miami-Florida State game. I know you have opinions on it. If you have a premium play on it, by the way, I know I should have said, you don't have to talk about it, by the way.
I'll talk about it. Like I have premium.
You can tell them to go buy it. We're not afraid to do that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not going to give out my top plays here. That's fine.
Yeah.
I have 20 plays on my card today. That's not including the teasers. And I have another 7 teasers. So if you want action, buy my thing. You'll get all these. I will tell you, I have a play in this game, and I'll tell you what the play is. But you don't know the unit rating. Is it a 5-unit play? Do I like it that much? Is it a 1-unit play? You don't know. Like I got 20 games. And it's not about any one individual play. That's why I bet the way that I do. It's not all about one game, one spot, one thing. It's about the process, right? And I'll save that discussion for another time. So I don't mind talking about it. I like the under. That Florida State Miami game, I like the under. Okay, I thought that total came in a little bit too high. I think these are two exceptional elite defenses with high-end NFL caliber talent on them. Just looking back, I watched every snap of that Miami versus Florida game. Florida is another team, just elite defense. I think Florida State's on their level. That game was 26-7. Okay, that wasn't even close. These rivalry games between these top-tier Florida schools, we've seen them be 14-10, 17-4, just grinders where every point is something. I think that the odds are higher of that happening than a shootout blowing up and it being both teams in the 30s and going back and forth. And with a total in the mid-50s like that, that's kind of what it has to be, right? Like somebody has to threaten 40 points in this game, or at least get in the mid-30s for this to have a chance to cover. And I just don't know that's going to happen. Miami's strength is the offensive line. They are going to run the ball. I don't think they put this game in Carson Beck's hands and just say, here, drop back and throw 42 times and let's win that way. Like I think it's going to be a slobber knocker, man. I think the first half is going to be grimy and gritty and dirty and physical, and that's going to help that under.
I'm pissed I got Miami at 4.5, but I am on the under as well. But it is what it is.
That number's down now, huh? Where is that number?
It's like you could find 3s out there now.
Really?
I'm seeing
3.5. Yep, that Florida line, I wanted to see if that had come down anymore. That was a big jump. Jumping from 7, just like right to 5.5.
Right away.
5. That wasn't like a slow trickle of Florida money.
Yeah, that Florida Texas game, Arch Manning. You have opinions about Arch Manning, and for people that don't watch Doc Daily during the week and only watch on Saturday, talk about Arch Manning and because I was big on Arch to the beginning of the year. I was one of those guys that believed the hype. He was the second coming of the Manning. He was going to be greatest football player to ever touch the ball. And fair enough, he still might be.
No.
He's still young. He's still young.
That dude sucks. He sucks. He is not. Look, I am with you. I am not a hater, dude. Coming into the season, I was right there with you. Like, I didn't touch that Ohio State Texas game in the weeks. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not messing with Manning and Texas and all that, but I'm not betting against Ohio State at home type of thing. Like, no, I wanted to believe too. Like, I'm with you, but I have seen enough to know what I'm watching, and he is not good. He is not a good quarterback. He is not at that level that's going to be good enough to get them to a national championship. I don't even know if they make the playoffs. I think they can get bounced twice in the SEC. They can definitely lose 2 of those games. They're not going to beat Georgia. They didn't beat Georgia last year with a better team. Now they got to go to Athens. So that's a loss. I don't know that they're going to win this game. This is the Alamo for Billy Napier. Billy Napier loses this game, and especially if they lose by double digits, or he is fired tomorrow. Billy Napier will not make it through this weekend if Florida doesn't probably win this game. Okay, they're going into a swamp, tough place to play. Florida's got a defense that is legit. Florida has played good competition already, so nothing that Texas is bringing in this game is going to be anything worse than what they saw against Miami, right? No, this is everything to me says Florida. Florida just got back Dallas something. I can't think of what his name is. A receiver, a tight end for them. Big play guy. They haven't had him yet. He scored 2 touchdowns in their spring game. He is back from injury. Hopefully they can juice up the pass game. DJ Lagway just needs to not turn the ball over because this Texas defense is awesome. Right. Top 10 defense, they are the truth. Okay, but Arch Manning sucks. And if you think he's going to turn around and make this, if you're holding on to one of those Heisman tickets, burn that thing, dude. Or find some other sucker that you can sell it to for $10 because he is not a good quarterback. The mechanics, what you see watching him is not what a real quarterback looks like.
Do you think it's his mechanics as much as it is maybe just the stage is too big right now for him? Mechanics, I don't want to say, I feel like mechanics can be taught or improved on.
If he doesn't have them by now, with all the training that he's gotten to this point, this is his, 3rd year in college, all the Manning passing camps, all the instructionals, all the one-on-one stuff, all the 7-on-7, all the training that he's gotten to this point, and it still looks that bad. He's just not very good. He's just not very good. He's not. He has the potential to be a mediocre college quarterback. That is his ceiling as a football player. And that's if he even keeps the job for the next couple of years. There's no guarantee there that he's going to be Texas's quarterback for the next 2 years. He sure as hell is not coming out to the NFL. He's not an NFL caliber quarterback. So,
but Florida, though, they lose to Miami. They lose to LSU. And that LSU team, I don't think is very good. Their defense is good, whatever, but they're in trouble in Florida. That team is this is the worst Florida team I think I've ever seen. And I could go back in stats and look up. I'm sure there's a team in the 90s that was worse, but this is a bad team this is the worst team I've seen in the last 10 years from Florida.
And Billy Napier should be gone. I'm not gonna stick up for him. His resume speaks for itself. They have been a bad team with him. They were a bad team last year, and then they won 5 out of 6 late in the season. They upset A&M, kind of pulls a rabbit out of the hat to save his job. This year it's the South Florida loss. If they hadn't lost that game, if their 2 losses right now were to Miami and LSU, both competitive games, I don't think that this would be the must-win game that it is. I think he'd have a little leeway losing to those teams. But they lost that South Florida game, and that's inexcusable if you're Florida. Now, at the end of the year, South Florida's freaking good, man. They still may end up as the Group of 5 representative in the college football playoff. They're good. They are legitimately a good football team that I would take, getting points against a lot of teams across the country. I feel like at the end of the year, we're going to look, especially if they make the playoffs, we're going to look back on that and be like, you know what, that wasn't such a bad loss. But right now it is, and that's why he's coaching for his job.
He is definitely. Penn State, UCLA. UCLA is another one of those teams that this might be the worst one I've seen in a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
It's bad. And that's hard to say.
They just fired their offensive coordinator, Tino Sunseri. Talk about a guy who made the wrong choice. He was at Indiana last year. Left Indiana to go to UCLA, and then doesn't even make it to Halloween in his first year.
And
that's when you go home and tell the wife, sorry, babe, we got to move again.
We got to move back.
Look,
we're trying.
This is kind of like that Oklahoma game that we talked about at first. Penn State can pick its score. Now, do they have a letdown from that game last week against Oregon? And everybody's already talked about James Franklin against top 5. I'm not going to go down that road. If you know, right?
Right.
But he's been a good bully in his career. This is what James Franklin does, kind of like in a nutshell, like lose to a top 10 team and then go beat the piss out of like a nobody team. So Penn State can pick its score. And right now we don't know where the bottom is with UCLA. Again, this was another game that I think is just like screaming teaser. Yeah. Right. Tease that thing down to 18.5 because I'll be stunned if they don't win by at least 3 touchdowns. But that's I think they win by
20 plus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you want to get it under that
20, 23 points, something like that, 33 to 10. So, you know, something like that I could see. But that back door is going to be wide open with that 25.5 or wherever it is. So, you know, I want nothing to do with UCLA. Like I said,
like this one too. Wyoming, UNLV. I still don't think UNLV is a good team. And I've been saying this since week 1, despite the record. I don't care that Mullen. Is it Mullins? Who's their coach, UNLV?
Yeah, Dan Mullen. Yep.
Dan Mullen. Doug Mullen. I don't know who the hell Doug Mullen is.
His cousin. That's
his cousin, right. He was a hell of a coach too in his day, Doug. Shout out to you, Doug. But Dan is coaching UNLV. This rivalry, UNLV, Wyoming, if you had to pick top 10 rivalries in college football, this probably doesn't make the everyday card for most people. No. But it is. It really is. This is a knockdown. These two schools don't like each other. And
well, how do you get more disparate that, you know, Las Vegas versus
Wyoming.
Wyoming. Just in terms of the cultural things related to that. But for me, this one was pretty simple. The trend is your friend, right? And you don't bet against the streak and all those other cliches. The home team is 10-0 against the spread in this series. Okay. It's a huge difference for Wyoming to travel down to Vegas and have to deal with the heat. It's a big deal for UNLV to have to go to Wyoming and deal with the elevation. We got a home dog that's good defensively that I think can muck this game up. I agree with you. UNLV is 4-0 and 3-1 against the spread, but it's kind of a very soft 4-0, soft 3-1 against the spread. 3 of their wins, including the Idaho State win, have come by an average of 5.7 points. So it's not like they're ringing people's bells. And this is one of the few home dogs that I like a lot of favorites today. I like a lot of big favorites. I think a lot of people get curb stomped this week.
This is one of those. This is one of the games where I like the 3.5. I'll put that, and I put it a teaser too over 7. Yeah, because I think Wyoming's a live dog here at home, and you know, Laramie ain't no joke. I've never been, but that's what I hear and what I see on TV. Doesn't seem to be a joke. Laramie, Wyoming.
You know, it's early in the conference. It's early in the conference
in the United States.
It's early in the conference season too, so all these teams can put the non-conference stuff behind them, and they're all focused and motivated. Nobody's out of anything right now, so you're gonna get motivated teams and focused teams, you would think. And on their best day, I think Wyoming can beat UNLV. So I'm with you.
Memphis -20. That's a big number.
No, I'm on the other side. I think Tulsa's trash. But Memphis should not have covered last week against Florida Atlantic. That Florida Atlantic program is kind of a mess. Memphis, same thing. They're that 5-0. They're in that pole position as that group of 5 representative for the playoffs right now. However, you're going to be paying a tax on Memphis the rest of the year. All of their numbers are going to be inflated. They don't play any defense. Love their offense. Love them at home. They don't lose. They don't lose at home. Memphis doesn't lose.
Fun to watch. They're going to score a lot of points.
They don't lose at home. All that stuff. But this is just a pure numbers play. I will be betting against Memphis over the next several weeks just because the longer that they're undefeated and, you know, especially when those projections start coming out of who's in the playoffs and who's not, you're paying a tax. You're going to be taxed 6 extra points.
That's a fair point.
And Tulsa, you know, they're Trey Lamb, their new head coach. They at least look like they're putting up a fight. You know, they beat Oklahoma State on the road as 2-touchdown underdogs. And you can say Oklahoma State's one of the worst teams in the country. I agree with you, right? But they still had to win that game. They're still showing some fight, right? And I don't think that the talent level between a Memphis and an Oklahoma State is that wide where it would justify an added touchdown against a team that, again, what's Memphis's motivation here, right? Take the W and move on.
I mean, I like Memphis. I think they're going to be fun to watch. I can't wait to see Memphis Navy, in the American conference game or something like that, or somewhere along the line that I hope that they line up. Tulsa, it's not 3 years ago, Tulsa, when you could just blind bet against them, or something like that.
Love that Cover's site is crashing right now. Like, I'm trying to look up Navy. I want to see when Navy plays South Florida and when they play Memphis, because that more of the focus is going to be on that Memphis
so
game.
We got Navy plays Air Force, Temple, FAU, North Texas, Notre Dame, South Florida, Memphis Army to end the schedule.
I'm telling you right now.
Memphis on the 27th.
It will probably be my 7-unit play that week. If things keep going, will be, if not a game of the year. This might be a game of the year situation on November 15th with South Florida catching points against Navy. In a smack in an in-between spot, coming off the Notre Dame game with the Memphis game on deck.
Yeah.
And they got to play South Florida. If South Florida's catching points in that game, oh baby. South Florida's going to beat them. They're going to beat Navy. They're going to win. They're going to win that game.
And that's a good, I don't mean to cut you off, but that's a good, that's really into it. For those of you that are watching, and I know this is just whatever, but that's some good actual knowledge there, information, because it's how you look at it. You might look at Navy, okay, they're playing well right now. Let's look at a spot I'm going to look at in the future. If you're not looking at matchups till the week of, you're kind of putting yourself behind the 8 ball if you're really into this to make money. If you're into this as recreational and you got a couple $100 that you want to throw around, hey, man, find the teams around you that are on TV and bet the teams that you're going to watch. But if you're looking to make some money doing this, whether it's extra income, a second income, or just your income, you got to be smart about it. And that's smart to look ahead in Navy. Okay, the game gets Air Force. It's always a big game. Throw everything out. It's Air Force, Navy, military. Ooh, yeah, rah, fight. But then they don't have nothing. Temple, FAU, North Texas. And then they get Notre Dame. It's going to be a big game. Then they have South Florida, going to be a good game. And then they have Memphis. So you got to look at a spot there. Like Robert said, that's a great sandwich spot. Maybe, there's other things to bet and better spots. You don't have to bet everything. And then just pick and choose your battles, so to speak.
You always have to be planning ahead, right? That's how you set your expectations. That's why, I've talked on Doc's Daily. I'm like, I was looking at this Florida State Miami game back in July, setting my expectations. Okay, this is what I think is going to happen. If this happens, this is where the number is going to be, and this is how I'm going to bet.
Correct.
If this happens, so you always have to be planning ahead. Like, honestly, everybody watching this right now, like, I know you're going to be drinking, watching the games, betting today. At some point today,
look at
35 o'clock, you got to look at next week. You got to look at next week. You got to see, okay, I just watched that game, and the result was bullshit. Sorry, BS, whatever. That team shouldn't have won. Who are they playing next week? What's that number going to be? Blah, blah, blah. Like, that's a big thing I do in college basketball, right? Like, the first week of the season, I already know what the games and the numbers I'm going to bet, like, through Thanksgiving are. I'm like, okay, this team has to play.
I do that with the NFL.
Yeah, like, you have to be looking ahead and setting. You just got to have a plan, man. You got to have a plan. And I understand that's why people like me exist, because you guys don't have time for that. You got jobs, you got wives, you got kids, you got stuff going on, man. Like, you're not sitting here poring over Navy's November road schedule,
I know.
right? Like, but that's what I have to do, man. That's
you really have to think about the game. Yeah, exactly. You have to be in that. Clemson, Neil, I don't think we did touch base on this.
We did. Clemson. This one's on my card, Neil. I'm on Clemson. It's how much fight do they have? What, like, are they going to roll over? They're coming out of a bye. They were humiliated the last time that they took the field. Maybe they're just not very good. Well, that much is obvious. They're obviously just not very good. Even though I was telling anybody that would listen on Doc's Daily and on other videos before the season, I was like, look, dude, Clemson is not winning the national championship. They are not good enough. Like, they are sketchy as hell, and we've seen it.
Sketchy as hell.
I still think, like, they still have a chance to win the ACC and make it to the playoffs. That's still a realistic goal for them. Okay. So I still think that they're going to throw their best punches here. North Carolina is just bad. They're just not a good team. They were not even close in that game against TCU. I think that's a team, that's probably closer where Clemson's level is, right? Like mid-tier Big 12 team. Like that's probably who they are rather than top 10 team. North Carolina got bombed by 25 at Central Florida. This whole Belichick thing is turning out to be the joke that a lot of people thought it was. And I want no part of North Carolina. I just don't. They are coming off a bye week as well. He was in Nantucket for the week with Jordan Hudson. Okay, that's not the Bill Belichick that was covering spreads, all-time underdog, who just lived, ate, breathed football with New England. He's not that guy anymore.
Right?
So don't expect North Carolina to all of a sudden snap too. They're making the switch from Gio Lopez to Max Johnson. Will that give him a bump? Maybe. But I feel like if Max Johnson was that much better than Gio Lopez, that a guy like Bill Belichick would have saw that right away, right?
Right away. You would have imagined he would have saw that in July. You know what I mean? August in camp. You know what I mean? So
that number
North Carolina is a MAC school right now. That's what they are right now for football. They're on the MAC level, and they're the bottom level of a MAC school, in my opinion. So Clemson runs through them on accident.
Yeah, that's another one. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, right? Like if North Carolina shows up and they play that underdog role, then I lose that ticket, right? But looking at this game before it happens, I want nothing to do with North Carolina. I think they're a bad football team. I think their coach is kind of mailing it in. I look at Clemson. They were overrated and overvalued. Everybody has sold all of their Clemson stock, right? Like nobody has a good thing to say about Clemson. Nobody. That's when I just kind of swoop in and I'm like, well, I'll take some of it. I'll take some short-term, short-term buy on Clemson.
Yeah, absolutely. We did cover this game a little bit. Oklahoma's going to call their number. If you believe that number, sure. I mean, I have a small play on it, but whatever. Kent State.
He likes Oklahoma. I said be wary because Oklahoma, they have the Red River rivalry, which is another angle that we didn't even talk about in that Florida-Texas game, right? Like, are they even looking past Florida?
Right? 100%.
So Oklahoma has the Red River rivalry game next week. Johnny Mateer is injured and is not playing this week. I think that it is more important for Oklahoma to just win this game and move on than it is to go out there and lay the wood. They're in a good spot. They haven't taken any losses yet, so it's not like they have to prove something to get the committee's eyeballs or something like that. I think they can just 40-3. 41-3, something like that.
I might look at Kent State's team total under. As we talk through that was a bet that I should probably like. As we talk through that, I'd like the team total under more than I like 40. Them laying 46.
If that number is like 7.5, maybe. But if it's lower than that, if it's below 7, I actually might take the over. They scored 14 points and 14 points against Texas Tech. 10 points against Florida State, two teams with athletic profiles similar to Oklahoma's, right? Again, they scored 28 points and almost beat Buffalo as a 20-point home underdog. Kent State's bad. I'm not saying Kent State is not a joke. What I'm saying is that they have been a little bit more spry than people expected. So can they put 10 points on the board here against Oklahoma? Maybe. They did it against Florida State. They did it against Texas.
Right now. Because I got multiple numbers. Covers is having
RSTY168. I'm pulling for you. With Navy. I'm on the under in that game. I don't think it's the big shootout that everyone is predicting. But we'll see. I've been wrong before. And again, I just don't like I don't like laying points to option teams, even if it's option on option action like we have in this Air Force Navy game. So, Air Force has not played well.
Option on option crime.
Air Force has not played well. However, again, this is Super Bowl game for them. And we still just kind of don't know how good Navy really is, right? Like I had them earlier this season. Who did I have them against? Maybe UAB. They only won by 14. They only beat Tulsa by 19. They didn't cover. They never really came close to covering against Rice last week. So it's not like Navy's just been steamrolling people right now. So you have a little bit more trust in them than I do.
Boise State, I want to believe this because I can't stand Notre Dame. But I don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't want nothing to do with it. Boise State, Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, Boise State shows up for these games. They show up for these games. They almost beat Oregon in Outson last year. Okay, they're going to show up for this game. The way Notre Dame is scoring right now, what they're doing offensively, what they did against Arkansas last week. I mean, what they did against Texas A&M. That's a really good Texas A&M defense. They hung 40 on them. Miami is a top 5, top 10 defense. You know, they should have scored over 30 against them. So it's just, for me, it's just a matter of, can Boise State keep up? But Notre Dame is another one of those teams. They kind of did they peak last week with what they did to Arkansas? 56-13. When teams have that type of peak performance, there's really only one way to go. So I don't know. That was one of the few games I really wanted nothing to do with this week.
Overwhelming game. Air Force looked rough last week. Thanks for the luck. No problem. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, baby.
Texas Tech. That's a oof.
I don't know, man.
Again,
this was a stay away. This was a stay away for me because I don't like Willie Fritz, the Houston coach. This is where he eats, right? Like this is his role. He is great as an underdog, great as a double-digit underdog. They're at home. I think this Houston team has a little something to them. Everybody wants to be like, oh, they barely got by Oregon State last week. Okay, but that happens. It's college football. You go on the road to a place like Oregon State. You don't always play your best game. Okay, they still were able to win that. They're going to be much more focused on this game. Maybe a lot of those kids at Houston didn't get recruited to go to Texas Tech. The thing with Texas Tech is I came into the season being like, okay, they're overrated because they went out and spent big in the NIL portal. I think their roster cost the second most in the country behind.
They spent money
behind Texas. Okay, Joey McGuire has not been a winner there. So I think that people are getting out over their skis before them. They played really well, but it's come against a really bad schedule. Everybody wants to point to that Utah win, and it was impressive. And that made me think like, okay, physically, this is a real team. All right. But here's the thing that you got to remember about that Utah game. Utah got screwed in that game. If that had been a night game, a 7:00 game, something like that, that place is nuts. They have one of the best home field advantages in the country. Instead, it got moved to a noon kickoff, which is 9 a.m. West Coast time, 9 a.m. Utah time. That got moved to noon so they could put it on TV. You're not going to have the same energy on the sidelines and the crowd, stuff like that, at 9 a.m. playing that game. And that was a back and forth game. Utah made a lot of mistakes in that game. The final score was not really indicative of how close that game actually was. So I think they're getting a little too much credit for that game. So I don't know. This is a wait and see for me. Like, is Texas better than I thought coming into the season, or was I dead on and they're overrated? And Willie Fritz is going to do Willie Fritz things with Houston and kind of make them pay.
Really, Willie Fritz doing Willie Fritz things. That should be on a t-shirt.
Neil, that Clemson line is steaming. You can't worry about 15.5 though. If you were going to play it at 14.5, play it at 15.5. That is not a key number. Get it before it gets to 17, right? Because if Clemson wins and covers that game, I don't think it's going to be by half a point or a point. Either Clemson comes in and kicks a piss out of North Carolina, which I think they can do, and they win 40-10 or something like that. Either Clemson is that team and they're that motivated and they're that much better than them and North Carolina's that bad, or they're not. Either North Carolina is going to hang around and this is a 7-point game and I was just wrong and Clemson really does suck, or Clemson has some fight left in them and they come in and just beat the piss out of them. So don't let that line movement. Some line movements are important. This is not one. If you like Clemson, roll with Clemson.
Last game we're going to talk about, then we're going to bounce out of here because football's kicking off.
Damn, I could do this all day, bro.
I know. Old Dominion, Coastal. I told you Saturdays are nuts. I love Old Dominion today, -3 touchdowns.
Yeah, with you on this.
Okay.
Somebody has a big play in this game on the site. It's their favorite play. I like it too. Old Dominion is no joke. They're the only team, other than Iowa, that covered the spread against Indiana this year. Heading into last week, they were the only team that played with them. And Coastal Carolina, they're just weird. They're just a fruitcake team.
Like, not a good team.
Beat Liberty, but they beat Liberty by double digits as a double-digit underdog, and then they lose to East Carolina 38-0. Like, who the hell are these guys, right? Like, I'm with you. I don't think they're very good. And this game kind of fits with my theme of the week, where I'm just like, I'm not scared of laying points, man. I think Old Dominion is just really good and a lot better.
I think they're really, really good, to be honest with you. I mean, they're gonna compete in that conference for sure. But I mean, I don't know, man. Old Dominion, it's just fun to root for a school like Old Dominion instead of, Alabama.
This is another one of these situations where I don't mind laying big points in football with a team that is just physically stronger, right? They're just bigger, they're just stronger, they're just tougher. On a different level. And that's what football is. So I don't mind laying big points. Again, same thing in college basketball. There are some times where I'm just like, this team is too big, too athletic, too much. Like they can just physically overpower teams. So you just lay the points with them. So yeah, I'm with you there on Old Dominion.
All right, perfect. All right, we're gonna get on out of here. I got two football games today, and a band competition to go to, and an MLB playoff game to watch. So
I got a Lumineers concert that I'm going to tonight.
Oh, there you go. Good job. Scott says good job today. Good job.
Thanks, man.
Scott's here every Saturday. Pen, paper ready. He's giving notes like a champ, and he's taking notes like a champ. So we appreciate it, Neil. We appreciate you as always. Guys, I scrolled the promo code. There it is, Docs Daily. Docs Daily 15. That promo code's good through 7 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night for all football package. So you get today's plays tomorrow and a Monday Night Football game from any. You could say 15% on any package. Hey, try and use it on the NBA, NHL stuff too. Just try.
Thank you for joining us, Neil. If it's 6 a.m. where you are, if you're Hawaii time or whatever.
6 a.m. here. Hey, listen, 9 a.m. my time. It's 9:04. I start at 8 a.m. this show, and it's a Saturday AMs are, you get to Starbucks, you get a dozen of donuts from the donut place. D's Donuts, Centennial Hills. That little lady there, I told her I'd give her a shout out. She laughs at me all the time. She watches. She goes, I knew you on the YouTube guy. I'm like, yeah. So shout out D's Donuts and Starbucks.
Listen, it's early, but tell me the adrenaline's not going right now, man.
You got to. Like, Starbucks.
We're ready to go.
Yeah, there you go. Good luck.
Shout out for Strike Boy Sports. My boys are going to have a big win today. They're going to win today. I'm telling you.
There you go. You use that free $60 account. Strike Point Sports. Robert Ferringo. You do you, Pikachu. We'll see you Monday, 1 o'clock Eastern.